Fortnite finally did it, from the kneecapper getting nerfed to free skins, the live events, so much more. Here's 20 updates that save Fortnite. One thing we've all been desperate for is a change to rebooting. It was so bad that everyone now plays Reload, and Fortnite is trying to change that. Coming soon is a brand new feature that removes the point of reboot cards for good, so instead of running across the map or battlefield to get your teammate's card, we'll be able to just pay gold and bring all of our friends in one payment. They'll even have shield that I saw, right? RLE's finally making it worth the hassle. Epic are seriously going all out in Chapter 6, like how we saw Blacklist of collabs surprisingly released this season. You see, after teasing this all the way back in Chapter 2, we assumed Mortal Kombat was permanently cancelled because of its R rating. That seemed to be the case as a whole time until Sub-Zero made a shock appearance and even brought up Mythic along with him. To excite Mortal Kombat fans even more, they updated it with tons of Easter eggs, from sound effects to the toasty uppercut appearing on your screen, and soon Scorpion is joining the game as well. And players are seriously thanking Epic for bringing back one of the most beloved LTMs in history. The getaway has only been a Fortnite twice, but fans couldn't get enough of it. And for the longest time, we've been dreaming of what this would look like on a modern-day Fortnite island. Now we get to live that dream because not only did they bring back the getaway mode, they even accounted for all types of players, whether it's a zero-build version or the world's first-ranked LTM, people are loving it. And we got to say thank you to Epic for finally making gold useful in Fortnite. I mean, we could always go to an NPC and grab a weapon or hit up a vending machine. But most of us only cared if there was an exotic or a mythic on sale now with black markets. Not only is gold better than ever, it's also basically eliminated RNG from the game. They're now gold llamas, and judging from the name, you could probably guess what's hidden inside them, up to 1,000 bars. Not only that, they also have a chance of granting you a dilbit, which is the most useful thing Al Llama could drop this season. We also got to praise them for the evolution of lobby tracks. I'm not going to lie. We were all pretty hesitant to spend V-Bucks on what was basically menu music, but then they evolved with the introduction of jam tracks. Now, these were playable songs in Festival, but also worked as emotes in game, and Epic kept on making them better. A few weeks ago, they announced music moments, and now your jam tracks will play when you drop in from the battle bus. And they become your Victory Royale music. Think about it, all of these new features without even touching the price of tracks. You got to appreciate it. Just like we have to thank Epic for the greatest mini-event of the new storyline. Last season, we saw the culmination of months of build-up as Daigo prepared to face Shogun X in the Spirit Realm. The fact this was a huge-scale battle, and yet it was all for a mini-event, was barely advertised. I'm going to talk about a round of applause here. With the amount of effort going into these season finales, it is truly bringing the magic of Fortnite back after years of drought. They also keep feeding us with tons of new weapons. Like in the most recent update alone, they introduced 3 items into the loot pool: the drill, pump and dump, and the outlaw shotgun. Usually, stuff like this gets drip-fed over the course of a few weeks, but they didn't even stop there. They also introduced black market back rooms with over a dozen exotics and mythics ready for the taking. I think one of the most underrated aspects of Chapter 6 is the fact that Epic has kept a game-changing feature. Let's take a look at Wrecked. We got a ton of ways to customize our vehicles, including the removal of a pretty annoying item, the repair torch. Nobody had the energy to carry one of these around. A waste of an inventory slot just to repair their car, so Epic came up with a solution. They introduced healing pads. Now you can just drive to a gas station and heal up without ever leaving your vehicle. This was such a revolutionary change that they kept it even when all of the other car changes were removed, and to this day, it is still the best quality of life update vehicles has ever had. Alright, what about vehicles that you can't drive? Well, even those have gotten better. The train was one of the most exciting, but also disappointing, updates of all time. We all wanted to hop on this thing and take a ride around the island, only for it to have no interior and just take you into the storm every match. So Epic went back to the drawing board. And now it's fixed. There's a huge incentive to go here. It has its very own train heist with an entire vault on board you could break into. It also guarantees us a Sentinel Mythic pump for robbing it, finally saving a feature that was on the brink of being forgotten. Now, I got to admit, one of the largest complaints the community has had about Fortnite's growth these past few years has been the Battle Pass. The situation was getting insane. I mean, every time something new came out, it felt like Epic had already designed a pass for it. Fans were paying so much money just to keep up with all the content, and luckily for us, Epic listened. They recently announced that the Fortnite crew was getting a huge overhaul, all 3 battle passes for the same price. It's pretty cool, right? If you needed even more proof they are dedicated to getting things right, Ballistic has been in a rough state these past few months, no new content or maps. I mean, players are struggling. And that is when Fortnite made a statement. They weren't abandoning the mode like rocket racing. In fact, it was the exact opposite. They wanted to get new content right the first time around. So they're releasing early access maps is just to test the layout. Of course, in a game like Ballistic, the layout is everything. And there's no point designing an entire map to completion if players just end up hating it, so we're going to be giving feedback from day one, which sounds awesome speaking of rocket racing. Sadly, the mode has been abandoned, but that doesn't mean our car cosmetics are useless now. Fortnite finally did something that should have been possible from the very beginning. Car trails now work in Battle Royale, so if you've gained a collection of trails you could actually show them off to your friends when drifting. Okay, we've also had some pretty serious issues with glitches this season, but we don't have to worry anymore. Epic has gotten great at patching exploits pretty much instantly. Whether it was flying from the middle island or the Dill quest giving you unlimited wins. Clamping down on these is just as important as banning cheaters, and luckily, they're fast at both. In fact, speaking of hackers, they have just made it even harder for cheaters to play cup tournaments. Now, you can't even play one unless your total account level is over 350. Stopping anyone from making a new account and just jumping in with cheats. A ton of you may be thankful for this next change, but it's also split the player base in half. That's right, Epic has nerfed the kneecapper, turning down the knockbacks. You can't make cars fly infinitely anymore. This is good news for all the people who hated playing against the bat. And it's still pretty powerful, but the nerf was mostly to patch the car glitch. Did you know that Fortnite's also been listening to pro players because Simple Edit has been removed from competitive mode while they work to introduce the return of Siphon? Yep, this is back in ranked and will give you health over 5 seconds. Let's also take a second to congratulate Epic for making Fortnite AUG permanent. Thanks to this decision, we get to look forward to new seasons, new battle passes, and even the return of old live events this season. Now, in my most recent video, I talked about how the rocket cap was being cut in half. And you guys weren't happy about it. Epic were planning to drop this from 12 rockets all the way down to 6, which I understand from your concerns would have killed all the fun of the RPG. Well, they listen, now it's back to 12.